Creativity and play. Very important that we keep a playful attitude about things. A lot of people's opinions have no fuzzy edges. There's no way to question what they believe. They believe everything they think. Bad move. Hard edges to opinions. That's not healthy. Need to be a little more playful. Able to find comfort with a fuzzier perspective that might be open to change. It's something that a good scientist might like to own. Yeah, a fuzzy edge. So what I'm saying, you've got to be, and how do you become more playful? You hear little babies babbling. There's even a picture or a video I saw once, in fact, of two little babies mimicking the sound of language without language. They're practicing. They were having a little conversation with each other, It's like, getting the tone and everything. If you just blurred what they were saying, it would sound like any conversation that humans might have at a distance, Yeah, it sound the same. So how do we become more playful and break things up a little bit? Well, language is one of those things where people are really, really tight and locked, and some are just really against trying to mimic correctly the sounds of someone in another, speaking another language, like their name. It's it's as if they don't even hear what's being said, and maybe there's some of that as a real thing, but you don't have to say somebody's name in a way that doesn't sound good just because you want to make it sound like your language. It's like, let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to think of an example, It's like, let's just make up something. Let's suppose somebody's name is Murad. Murada. Murada. Do you really have to say Marara? And go, well, that's the best I can do. Marara. Yeah. Sure it was. You weren't trying. Try to listen. Anyway. So that's how it is, as people will say, sort of, ¿Cómo está usted? Which is still not the best. ¿Cómo está usted? Because the D is very soft. Almost non-existent there. Do you really have to say, ¿Cómo está usted? Really? At least try. Even with the effort, you may not get close enough. But one thing for sure, if it sounds bad after you say it and it sounded good when they said it, you probably said it wrong. So how do you get more flexibility into, more creativity into, this stodginess that people want to hang on to, this comfort zone of that's the way it is. I believe it, and that settles it. You know, how do you shake that up a little bit? Well, I have to laugh. There are Pentecostals who go into little fits and they start sounding like babies again, you know, like, bah, 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 you know, like, you know, thinking they're speaking another language. But that doesn't help creativity very much. Creativity involves more of a purposeful shaking up of and playfulness, purposeful playfulness, taking different angles on things, shifting it up a bit. That helps creativity, and that helps flexibility, which I've called fuzzy edges. So instead of the Pentecostal version, why not just like they do in music? You know, that gets thrown in, you know, things like that. There's even a name for it, I believe. But what if you got really wild and you just launched your own song without recognizable words? You know, play around with it a little bit, you know, and yeah, then you might add a little fuzziness to how you react to and speak words. You might even try some new sounds, maybe a more guttural thing. Maybe that'll help you when you try to speak Arabic, perhaps, if they have a little of that. You know, be flexible, be playful, dare to look and feel silly. Children don't have a problem with that. We lose that as we get stodgy and old. We get kind of rigid. Really, anything that upsets our routine is frightening. Yeah, is it really? Or have we allowed ourselves to lose all our fuzzy edges? All of our playful approach to life, which allows us to really enjoy the wonder of things. Have we allowed ourselves to do that? I think so. So try shaking things up a bit. Dare to look at things in another direction, even in terms of how you think. You know, if you think something, you know, try to attack that thought, that concept. See if there's enough to it to even attack. Sometimes I see people argue about words where there's no substantial connection of that word to anything in reality. So how can you argue about it? I think God is one of those words to, you know, be blunt and a little bit unnerving to some stodgy people. And what does that mean? Okay, it has no association with anything here. It's supernatural. What does that mean? How would you know what was supernatural unless you knew everything that was natural? Am I crazy here? No, I don't think so. Gee, I've looked at everything, I've understood everything, and that's outside, definitely outside. And if it's outside, that's a relationship. So is it really outside? So anyway, so, these kind of terms that, they don't mean anything, but people get really upset. And then there are these political terms that people have. Oh my gosh. What type of political person are you? Dare to get out of your lane. Most countries do best that incorporate many different ideas in how they run themselves. Not just one or two. Seems like when people do that, it's disastrous. Yeah, learn from that. Hello. We can do better. And a lot of times if there's a fuzzy edge to things, people aren't so afraid to be close to each other, to share a joke, to admit maybe I'm wrong. I've had arguments where I won, but because of this little fact or that little fact that we were missing, the other person was right. And I was wrong. I think. Anyway, life is fuzzy. We try to look in and have predictive structures, and there's nothing wrong with that. But don't believe everything you think. That's a kind of crazy. Stodgy doesn't work. Be a little flexible. Realize that the thing you're most certain of, well, maybe you're just dead wrong about that. So, here we go. We've discussed creativity. Well, let's look at it another way. Looking at things from different perspectives. Okay. If I watch a conservative show, then I want to watch a liberal show. If I have an idea in my head, how could that be wrong? If it can't even be attacked, it's probably not real. If it can be attacked, how substantial is that attack? Could it be that what I'm saying is in the realm of reality, but at least enough to be wrong? So let's look at that. Try to tear apart what you think. See whether you can. That feels uncomfortable, huh? Well, once you're more fuzzy, you won't be uncomfortable. Just like little kids that play. You'll be alright with it. Yeah, you won't be a stodgy, old, dried up bone of a person. Yeah? Now, I'm old, so I can talk. Many people that get older don't get wiser. And the reason is they don't look at things from a multitude of perspectives. They don't keep their brain activated. It's just like your body. My body's in bad shape. It's because I don't move in certain directions, and I'm not developing my overall my love of movement and abilities. Weightlift, whatever. I'm not doing it. I'm a little stodgy right there. Is that a bad thing? Yes. Very much so. Something I need to work on. How about you? Is there something you need to work on? Try to be fuzzier. Being at play in the world is a lot more fun. Have a great day.